What's up, everybody? My name is Jay Wynn, and welcome to Undisrupted, the podcast, where we have dope conversations as destiny over people's expectations. We're living our best life the best we know how, and as we go through our journey, we're hoping we can give you insight on things that can help you create your own. Listen, I'm excited because on today's episode, I'm actually talking to you about the journey and the path it took to get to the point where we can have this episode of Undisrupted. So thank you for tuning in. Listen, follow our social media links, subscribe to our Patreon if you like what you're hearing. As you help us, it helps us be inspired to keep going on. So be a partner with us. I really appreciate it. Listen, let's dive into this episode. Okay, some of you might be wondering what took me so long. Okay, I've been talking about doing a podcast for the longest time. I want to say at least, I started in like 2018. I even started with two dope individuals. Shout out to them, Miss Can I Live and Mr. Ricky B. Started off with them. We were in my office at the church. We recorded some episodes, but just scheduling, things happen. They were in college at the time. I was running the church, being the pastor, and I was doing, my job and just didn't have time to finish it. To do more than 2 episodes. We had some great conversations though, and even interviewed some people. That was dope. But I've been saying, okay, I know I need to do this. I've been thinking about it. I've been trying to go over it and over it, always making excuses. Maybe I didn't have the right equipment. Maybe I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I didn't have the right thing to say. Like, I just kept going on and on. Even up to last year, I'm like, okay, I'm doing it this year. Okay, this is 2020. I'm doing it. No excuses. I got the equipment I needed. I had all the stuff I needed. I actually filmed 4 to 5 episodes, but it was like the devil was in the recordings. That's the best way to describe it. There was always something wrong with the audio. Like, the video would have been great, the audio was bad. Or the audio was great, the video didn't record. Or we did a whole episode, neither worked out. Oh my God, like, it's just always been one excuse after another. Like, there's so much that I know that I need to do, that I'm called to do on this platform, being podcast, doing content, all this different stuff, but I always get excited, like most of us, right? You get excited, you get amped, you're ready to go do it, and then all of a sudden something comes to like cause a problem, cause a conflict, comes to just throw you off. I was even doing ministry stuff. I was doing preaching videos. I was doing all this stuff. Then what happens? Things come up. Now I'm inconsistent. Now I'm not doing as much. Now I feel like nobody's really watching. Just all these different mental roadblocks, right? That's something my dad would say. All these mental roadblocks just coming and just literally stopping you from achieving what you want to do. I was experiencing that like every time. Every time I set up a camera, set up the lighting, I'll go through everything I need to do just to not do it at all because something stopped me from doing what I was called to do, right? So I've been thinking about it even this year. I said, all right, this year is the year I'm going to do it, right? January hits, didn't record anything. February hits, didn't record anything, on and on and on and on. And here we are now, like coming up July, and I'm like, okay, you know what? What's going to happen is August, I'm going to come home, right? I'm going to come home from our convocation. I'm going to knock out all these recordings. I'm going to take a whole week of just making preaching videos and making podcasts and finishing this music project I want to work on, right? And I had it all planned. It was going to go exactly how I saw it was going to go. There wasn't going to be any excuses on why it didn't show out the way it needed to show out. Like, I was about to just stun on people with my recording quality, my new cameras, my new lighting. I was like kind of flexing to myself about myself of how myself was going to do this thing, right? So lo and behold, I go to convocation. Convocation was great. I come home. Day 1, I didn't record. Right. And now, mind you, this is August, 2021. My podcast was supposed to be launched September 1st, 2020. So here we are a year later, almost a year later. And I'm like, okay, well, let's get this done. And day 1, I come back, I don't record because I'm too tired. Okay. I overexerted myself. It's summer, heat's getting to me, all this different stuff. Again, more excuses. Day 2, I was supposed to do it again. And, I was like, okay, I'll do it late tonight. That was my new excuse. Okay, I'll wait till the kids are asleep, make sure I could do it where, I'm not getting interrupted, right? So Tuesday night comes, and then I just start praying. I don't know why. I start praying, just really trying to get in the, maybe if I get really amped up spiritually, I'll be ready to do what I need to do on the podcast, right? So I prayed. I was praying protection, praying comfort, all this different stuff. Didn't know why. Wednesday at 2 a.m., all of a sudden my body goes into so much just aching pain. I have no idea why. I just, like, it just everywhere I lay, I'm just sore everywhere. It just doesn't make any sense. That day, the next day, going into Wednesday, like same day, this is 2 a.m. Wednesday now about 8 o'clock, all of a sudden I have this extreme sinus infection going on. I'm like, what on earth, right? Just throbbing on my nose, my head. I just have this severe headache. I can only look with one eye. But at the same time, I can't get out of bed. Now, for those of you who know me, I don't get sick easily, okay? The thing that I probably suffer with most might be sinus stuff, right? Allergies. So every year I expect that. Every year it comes. Every year I'm braced for it. I know this is my thing, right? So I'm thinking, man, is this sinuses? But it's like weird. It's like, it might be sinuses, but then why is my body feeling like this, right? So I'm trying to ignore it. Like I said, there's things I have to do. So I'm trying to record. I get up, I go to my studio room, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to do this thing, right? I just couldn't do it. I had no energy. I'm feeling so sluggish. So I missed another day of recording. The next day, now it's things aren't like I'm so stuffy and congested, right? I can't breathe out of my nose. Now again, I'm thinking this is just sinus stuff, right? My wife is like, yeah, we should get a COVID test. And I got mad. Oh man, I was so mad at her. I think ultimately I blame her for what happens next, okay? I did at the time. I know it was a divine plan. I did at the time. But anyways, I was just angry. I'm like, we're not doing a COVID test. I'm good. Like, that's not what this is. This is my sinus problems. I always get these things, right? She's like, well, let's just do it. I'm like, whatever. She goes, fine. You don't have to do it. I'm going to do it. And then, so I was like, fine, right? Having an attitude, ordered. And I'm mad because we did an at-home test. And I'm mad because it came in a pack of 2. And the reason why we're doing the COVID test at this time is because my wife actually is feeling the same stuff I'm feeling. She can't breathe out of her nose. She's having sinus problems and her body's aching, right? So the COVID test comes, we do the COVID test, and she goes, I'm positive. I said, and I'm angry because I know that means I'm positive too, but I was in denial, okay? I was like, nah, that ain't me, that's just you. So I take the test. I'm like, watch, it's gonna say that I don't have it. Lo and behold, as you guys can imagine where the story is going, I end up getting it. I had it, right? So I was just so angry because I felt like I felt like the symptoms were going to get worse. Have no idea why. But lo and behold, the next day, all of a sudden I can't taste. My wife, she was doing really great, even though she was going through COVID and stuff too. And my wife has asthma, and so she's pushing through, right? And she makes us breakfast the next day. I have a banana and the banana tastes off. I have the oatmeal. I can't taste the oatmeal at all. I'm like, yo, what is going on? Right? So I'm like, yep, this is definitely COVID. But my body's getting worse, all this different stuff. Fast forward into going to second week. Now I can't hold anything down. It's like, I kid you not, I'm throwing up left and right. I don't know what's wrong. I literally, when I was done, I had to get the whole carpets in my house cleaned. It's like I couldn't hold anything down. It was like the thing was killing me. I couldn't, my wife was making us literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack, and all that stuff, trying to make sure I can eat something, make sure we can all eat and keep up our strength, and I just couldn't. I was getting progressively worse. And I don't know about you, but I feel like not a lot of people, everybody experiences COVID differently, right? And so not a lot of people experience what I experienced, but there was even one time, like 2 weeks straight, I was straight hallucinating. I kid you not. Like there was certain stuff on the TV. I had to tell my wife, please turn this off, like, because it was making me like play things in a loop. I was hearing voices talk to me. I was straight tripping. Do you hear me? I was losing my mind. And a show now that I'm annoyed with is Bluey on Disney Plus, is because my daughter, for some reason, discovered Bluey while I was out of it. And now the whole theme song kept playing in my head over and over. Shout out to Disney Plus. But anyways, so I was just going through, like I was hallucinating. I was tripping. It was so bad. Fast forward to week 3, right? To where it's the worst of it. Like, I can't even use the bathroom. Full transparency, I can't use the bathroom because if it caused me to like push or do any extra exertion, my nose and my head would ring so bad I couldn't think straight. At one point, like, I couldn't even wash my own self up in the bathroom. My wife had to help me. It was so bad. I was in so much pain. I couldn't breathe. I was going through so much stuff to where at the height of it, I had like basically an asthma attack to where like I couldn't catch my breath. And I was panicking. They said, go to the hospital. I said, I'm not going to the hospital because I don't want to die. My wife started crying because I said that. But I was being honest. I'm like, let me deal with this at home, right? I was going through it. I kid you not. That same day, I end up I end up laying down, like, no, this is still week 2. This is the end of week 2. That's all this is happening. I sit on the couch, and I know some of you watching this don't believe in God. Some of you watching this don't believe in prayer, all that. That's fine, okay? But I'm just going to tell you my personal experience. So sitting there, I'm saying, God help me, God help me, God help me. A prophet friend of my dad's calls me. His name is Prophet Brown. He calls me and he was like, hey, how you doing, man of God? I don't know. The Lord put you on my heart. I just want to see how you're doing. And like, I'm hyperventilating and suffocating, and I'm saying, Prophet Brown, I have COVID. I can't breathe. And I kid you not, that man started praying for me, right? To where like he was even like, that demon sitting on his chest right now, trying to take his oxygen from him. We command you to leave off. I kid you not, I felt something leap off my chest to where I was able to get oxygen in, right? After he prayed, I fell asleep for the first time. That was the first time I was able to sleep in like that whole week. Then after that, I woke up. I thought, okay, I'm good. I slept. I could breathe a little more. Wife brought me something to eat. I threw it up again. So I went to the hospital. This is the first time I went to the hospital. And when I go, they go, what is it? They go, do you have COVID? I said, well, I'm over it technically, I feel, but yeah, I do have it. And I can't hold anything down. That's why I'm here. It's not breathing stuff. So they can't hold anything down. Gave me an IV to rehydrate me. Gave me some Zofran, which I hate. Okay. Me and my wife have not had good experiences with Zofran. Don't even get me started on that. But anyways, they gave me some nausea medicine. They gave me the Zofran to try to so I could hold food down. Gave me some cough medicine so I could stop coughing, because my cough was so bad it would literally make me throw up, right? They gave me the medication for the stuff like that. I started taking it for a couple of days. Stuff still wasn't working. At this point, I lost 30 pounds. Okay? That was bittersweet. But I lost 30 pounds because I was going through so much, right? Go back to the hospital on Thursday just because I'm like, and my brother, shout out to Joe, he was helping me a lot, taking me places, helping running errands and all that stuff, but I'm down, right? So like, even when I go to the car, I lost I couldn't even walk straight. I was limping and leaning over, like a lot of me was taken out. So anyways, I'm limping to the car, he takes me to the hospital again. I'm sitting there and I'm at the point where I know I should be discharged, but they're not discharging me, and it's kind of getting aggravating. They come back and they say, hey, so we're not discharging you yet because your heart rate's irregular and your blood pressure's up. I'm like, yo, I don't know why. I just came because I can't hold food down. I just want to eat. They're like, well, let us do some more stuff. They did some more stuff, kept doing some new blood work. I'm getting irritated because my body's still in pain, still going through the sickness. And here I am sitting in an uncomfortable emergency room chair, just trying to get some rest, right? They come, they go, look, we need to admit you. We need to do some more tests because we don't want to let you go with your heart rate and your blood pressure doing what it's doing. I said, look, I don't care. I'm going to call my wife. And if my wife says to come home, I'm going home. They go, well, we can't force you to keep you. I'm like, you sure can't. So I'm calling my wife thinking big and bad me. My wife is going to say, no, come home, right? No, she didn't say that. My wife said she had just been praying and she said, I feel you need to stay. And I was mad at her. I'm like, why? Like, I'm good. She's like, I feel you need to stay. So I stayed. This is now about midnight. So I asked the nurse, how long does it take for me to get to a room? It could take 1 hour. It could take 5 hours. It depends on if we go to bed. This is at 12 o'clock. At 12:05, she goes, oh, I guess they found you a bed. I'm like, cool. Don't know why they rushed it, but praise Jesus, right? They take me to, they put me in a wheelchair. This is interesting because my breathing, like I told you, felt like it was doing better. They put me in that wheelchair and they were rolling me through the hallway, just going at a moderate pace, not rushing. The wind that was hitting my face made me feel like we were going 100 miles an hour and the air was suffocating me. And all they were doing was pushing me in a wheelchair. I kid you not. I was like, what is this, right? So they get me to the room. They put me in there. I'm just so cold. The nurse doesn't come back till like 1:30. She's like, what's wrong? I said, I'm just so cold. Can you please give me some heated blankets? Do something. Gave me some heated blankets, did all the different stuff. Now it's about 5 a.m., 5:30. They're taking me to get an MRI and get some work done, right? They're like, because, they did that. They had a person come in with the ultrasound on my heart. They're just like asking me, are you sure you don't have high blood pressure? Are you sure you never had a heart attack? Are you sure you haven't had a stroke? I'm like, look, all these questions y'all asking me is making me nervous, but they wouldn't tell me anything. So they go, I do the MRI and stuff like that, right? They take me back to the room. 10 minutes later, 3 nurses come rushing in, plugging up a new IV to me, changing out a drip, doing all this different stuff. And I'm like, yo, what's up, right? A doctor comes in and tells me, you have a massive blood clot in your right lung that's literally causing you to throw up, that's causing you all these breathing problems and all this different stuff you're going through, causing your irregular heart rate and causing your blood pressure to go up. I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, look, we just put you on emergency blood thinner. It's okay. We're going to get this under control. So this is like Thursday night going into Friday. So nobody tells me anything else Friday. Saturday, the doctor comes, same doctor, he goes, okay, well, you're a little more stable. We didn't want to tell you yesterday because we didn't want to cause any shock to you. I'm like, what? He said, your blood clot was so big, if you would have went home Thursday between Saturday and Sunday, it's being Saturday, he said you would have died. I said, Doc, come on. He's like, I kid you not. He said it was so scary that if we didn't move as quickly as we moved to put a blood thinner drip in me, and they had me on a consistent blood drip for 24 hours, they said you literally would have lost your life. And so now I'm getting my dad's on the phone. I call my dad. He's on the phone listening to the doctor with me, and like tears are in my eyes. And the doctor says, he says, I take your case seriously because my sister-in-law just died 2 weeks prior, and she had the same symptoms that you had. She didn't want to come into the hospital, and turns out she died because she had a blood clot. He said, I can see COVID left your body, but left you with the clot. Almost like it was trying to finish the job. I'm like, yo, why are you saying it, wording this way? Doctor leaves, goes, don't worry, we're going to take care of you. He leaves. I hang up the phone with my dad. I tell my wife everything. Hang up the phone, and I just sit in the bed and cry. Cry. Not just because I almost lost my life, but I thought about everything. I said, man, I don't have my family in order for me to die yet. I have 3 kids. I have a wife. My kids are 7, 5, and 2. Just thinking about all this different stuff. And then what dawned on me while I was sitting there was, I almost went to hell over a podcast. What do I say that for? The Bible says, right? If for those who believe, if you look in the Bible, there's a judgment day. We all have to answer one day, right? To the works that we've done, the things we said. And I'm like, what if God, and I just started thinking, I said, what if God was going through a list and saying, okay, cool, you fed the homeless this day. Man, you preached the gospel. You donated money to this. You did all this different stuff. You were such a great person. Oh man, so you must be, and gets to the last thing and says, where's the podcast? It says podcast, media, content, all this different stuff. That again, I've been needing to do since 2017, but haven't done yet, right? 2017, 2018. And it goes, I don't really know you because you have the prerequisites for who Jay Wynn is, but you're missing some things for me to really know you to be Jay Wynn. Like, I don't know why, but that's how I visioned it. Like, you could do so much, but miss the things he told you to do to where it says, depart from me. So that's my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I literally could have missed God and went to hell over a podcast because I felt led to do it. And I haven't done it because I kept making excuses. How many of us listening to this podcast right now? No, seems like I'm ranting, but how many of you know there's things that you need to do that you have yet to do because you're making excuses of other things? Don't get me wrong. Life is going to happen to all of us. But I'm at the point where it's like, at least we have to do something. Put it out there. It might not be perfect the first time. But at least, the more we do it, we'll get better. At least let the people see the growth with us. We got to start somewhere. Because I almost missed out on, to me, a promise because I failed to do something. Now, I recorded this episode, okay? Right when I got out of the hospital, same week. Had a lot of energy. I was missing a lot because I wasn't sick. But, and I'm trying not to cry now, I'm happy to say that I can have this conversation with you all. After seeing my lung specialist last week, my pulmonary doctor, he had tears in his eyes. He said, you don't know how happy I am to see you. He said, you're walking good. You're breathing fine. He said, you're not having any regression. He said, you should have died. We saw how bad it was. He said, but I'm so glad to see you. And for those of you who don't know, I end up getting the Delta virus. So that's the worst virus right now, right? And the doctor's like, look, you recovered through the Delta by yourself. You have a lot of antibodies to fight against any more COVID. So thank God for that. But they were like, it's so bad you shouldn't be here and you're here. He's like, so if everything goes well, we're going to, in December, I'm supposed to do another, ultrasound and CAT scan and stuff like that. And they're supposed to see if the blood clot is, regressed. I've been on Eliquis, which is a blood thinner, since I got out the hospital. Tell me why. I just had my birthday, November 6th. Okay. And I just turned 30 finally. I've been waiting for this moment since I was 15. There was so many reasons why I should not have made it to 30, but I made it to 30. And I'm so grateful for that. My dad's in town. My whole family comes and surprises me, for my 30th birthday. We hung out, had a great time. That Sunday, my dad ends up speaking at a service. We go to the service. It was so charged with the power of God, right? I'm minding my business. My dad taps me and says, the Lord wants to heal you, but he can't do anything if you don't open up your mouth. Now, this is the first time I've been in a church service since I got COVID, since I came back from convocation. I'm like, you know what? It's loud in here. There's music in here. Let me yell out. I haven't even yelled because my lungs and stuff wouldn't do it. So I start yelling, thank you, Jesus, praising God, just celebrating God. Then I'm looking. Then all of a sudden, I feel this intense, warm hug, but it's nobody. I feel the hand on my chest. I feel the hand on my back. My body starts doing things. So I knew it was the glory of God. But it was interesting. I felt like a hand on my chest. And my chest at this point, like I said, I've been having heart palpitations since the hospital, since I got COVID. So my heart will beat really, really fast. My breathing gets heavy. My oxygen gets slow. And I start feeling these aches. That's how I know the blood clot stopped oxygen from coming to me, my heart. So I felt this warm on my chest. And then all of a sudden I felt the pain leave my chest, right? I feel my heart rate slow down. And then I feel my lungs expanding. I dropped to my knees. Tell me why. I can testify of this. I coughed up the blood clot as of November 7th. And again, they say I still going to go do the CAT scan in December. That way we can have the medical proof. But it's been a few days now, and I have not had any heart palpitations, any heavy breathing. I've been able to run without exhaustion and all that different stuff. So I'm here to tell you that as much as I thought I almost went to hell over a podcast, it took an extreme situation to finally give me something to say. Because now I'm not just talking to you from what I know he will do, but I can talk to you from something that I experienced, that I've had to know that I've overcame something that I shouldn't have overcame so quickly. This is my podcast, okay? I'm Jay Wynn. I'm having this podcast called Undisrupted, where we talk to other individuals, and sometimes you'll just hear from me. Most times just having conversations of real everyday life, just perspectives of things, just to help you get through your midweek. Okay, sometimes midweek is the time I like to hear most podcasts, most talk radio anyways, because I need something to just get me over, to the weekend. And so that's why we're here, just to have real conversations with you. If you want to hear something, if you want to hear something discussed, hit us up, write us, DM us, let us know so we can have those conversations with you, because ultimately, no matter how you look at the spectrum of religion, how you look at the spectrum of spirituality, at the end of the day, I want to be a light. Okay, I really do. There's so much darkness in this world. I want to be somebody you can know when we have a conversation, you'll grab any piece of nugget out of it. I'm not trying to be overly deep. I'm not trying to be overly conscious and aware. I'm just being real and honest. You know what I mean? We go through real life, and it's cool to see honest people having real conversations. So thank you so much for tuning in to this. I'm so excited about my next episodes. Please stay tuned. Hey, follow our social media links. Follow this podcast, follow anything that we're connected to, so you can stay in tune and hear what we have for you, because I promise the best is yet to come, and we're going up. All right, y'all.